G'day, folks. Welcome to the Buddez podcast. You're probably wondering how you make content. Where do I get ideas to make content? And how can I keep making regular content? But running out of ideas, haven't got any ideas. I've used all my ideas. If that's you, you're in for a real treat today, because today we've got all three Buddez founders of myself, Sophie, and Rose together. And we are giving you some tips on content ideas, what to do when you're running out of ideas, you haven't got any ideas. And we've all got some ideas for you. So g'day, Rose. G'day, Sophie.
Hey, Pete.
G'day. So can I ask you firstly, Rose, what would be your first tip for content creation?
So, content creation, I like to break it down into 4 different categories. So, the first one is you might be educating, or you might be selling, or you might be doing socials, or you might be nurturing your customer.
Okay.
So, I can jump into each of those a little bit later, but that's how I like to think about my content, separated into
Cool.
4 categories.
We might come back to you for each of those 4. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. For you, Soph?
Yeah, so when it comes to content ideas, I think it is really good to have those pillars and to be creating alongside those pillars. But I also think it's a good idea to think outside the box as well. So don't be afraid to do something that's a little bit different, maybe that people in your industry aren't necessarily doing. So sometimes that is just doing a bit of research and jumping online and taking a look at what other people outside of your industry are doing, and take some inspiration from that. So not always, but looking at things and thinking, great, like that they've just done a time-lapse video. I could maybe do that to a trending audio. So it's not always thinking, oh gosh, I'm a builder, so I always have to do builder things, or I have to look up builders, what other builders are doing. Like, open up your research and really look at what other people are doing and go from there.
That's a great idea. My first tip for you guys is to talk to your customers. Talk to your customers and ask them, thank you for engaging with us, purchasing our service, purchasing our product. I'm really interested to know, what was it in particular that made you buy this? Was it a particular problem you were solving? Was it an opportunity you're looking towards exploring? Was it about getting a cleaner pool, a better backyard, a new fence? Was it about getting new stainless steel cookware? Whatever it is. And then you can either ask that customer to make content with you, or take that idea and say, hey, I was talking to one of our customers yesterday. She said that she was looking for a low tox environment in her kitchen for her kids. So she went to buy this particular stainless steel cookware. So talk to customers is my first tip. Now, I'm really curious, as I'm sure you are too, about, because Rose gave us a bit of a tease there. She said, I've got 4. I'm not going to give them to you just yet. So what's the first of yours, Rose?
Okay, so the first one is to educate. So this can be you providing information about what you're selling or your service or your product, how it works, why it's useful. So giving your customers education on what it is you're offering. It's a really good way for your customer to build a connection with you and also trust your brand or your product. So that would be the first one, is educate them. And that can be anything at all. It can be how to use it, what it is, how it's made, how you use it. Yeah, it could be anything.
I like that idea. We were talking to one of our Buddez insiders, Hugo Reed from Reed Brothers Construction, and he often talks about, he does a lot of outdoor construction. He says one of his ideas is what to think about when you're about to build a new deck in your home. So even before you'd engage someone like Hugo, what to think about, like size, dimension, timber type, how high off the ground, all those sorts of things, even before you make that decision. Very useful stuff. What about you, Soph?
Yeah, I think just on that as well, on that education angle, it's really important to remember that everything that you know because you do the job or it just comes naturally to you is probably something that others don't know. So it could be something as simple as, why you put together a fence a particular way. Like, it's just industry standard, everyone does it. But for the person at home who's watching who doesn't know anything about fencing, that might be a really interesting thing for them to learn. Or they might be renovating and they might find that information useful. So it's sharing bits and bobs about what you're doing, even if it is something that to you seems so obvious and so self-explanatory. And sometimes we remember that we learn so much in our job and in the education we do for our job that we forget that not everyone knows the ins and outs of what we do. So I think, even spelling out really simple things, it doesn't need to be a full lecture about this is how you build a house. It's just, this is why we do the nail in the fence this way and not that way. And I think that's It's little things like that that can be really good snippets of information. So I think don't necessarily feel like you have to do a big, long tutorial all the time. Like they are good to do. But I think when you are putting together these videos, short, sharp tips also works really well.
Fantastic. I love that idea. My next tip is to spy on competitors. I don't mean do anything illegal, like sort of counterterrorism sort of stuff. What I mean is check out who your competitors are, get online and see what their socials, what they're talking about. In their socials, particularly if they're a market leader, like if they're bigger than you, more popular than you, been around longer than you, it's likely because they know their customers, they know their customers who are also your customers better than you do, and see what content they're making, what's trending, what's working particularly well, and do something similar because not because you're copy, because that's what your customers are looking for. So my tip number 2 would be to spy ethically, of course, on your competitors. Now, I'm still keen to know about Rose's number 2. I only heard one. What's number
I'm
2?
drip feeding them to you, Pete. All right. So number 2, I call it sales and promotion. So what you
Okay.
want to do is you want to lead with a hook before you go in for the sale. So leading with a hook can be things like, have you been wanting to build a fence but not sure how? Or so it's kind of like a question, you're reeling them in, making them think, actually, yeah, I do need that, or I have been thinking about that. So you're reeling them in, you're giving them a little information, and then you're saying, I'm the person for you to help you with this. So it's that sales promotion side of social media where you're selling yourself basically.
Wow. Okay. Love that one. Love that one. What's yours, Soph?
Yeah, I think alongside that as well, I think it's don't be afraid to be a little bit clever with your hooks. I think really think about what's going to stop that scroll in 3 seconds. And it could be something like what not to do when you're building a fence, or it could be here is want to see the biggest mistake we've ever made. Here it is. And maybe it's not even that big of a mistake, but immediately they're like, oh, I need to find out what's going on here. So try to, and you can use AI tools to be a bit more clever with this. You don't need to come up with it all yourself, but having a really clever intro and a really clever hook is what will potentially make or break that person watching the video. So always consider that as well, how you can, work that out.
That one out. My next tip is one of my favorite things is reading and telling stories. Now, your origin story may be and is very likely to be really, really interesting. We were talking to one of Buddy's partners recently, and he runs a health business, and they started with blue light glasses because, and his story was that he was working very hard. He was a senior marketing director in a big firm. He's getting a lot of eye strain and headaches and couldn't quite work it out. Worked out that there was a lot of this blue light coming off computer screens. And he started delving into this, got so passionate about it, he started a business that whose first product was glasses to help you with this blue light. And it was a really interesting story. When he told it, I thought, well, I didn't even realize that was a thing. And it was a thing for him. It's probably a thing for most of us. And if he tells that story, it sort of reminds us of how important it is. And you are likely to be very passionate about what you do. And that passion can help you sell it. Because think, wow, this guy's really into blue light, or she's really into stainless steel cookware, or whatever you're into. Be a bit passionate, be a little bit psycho. That's okay. We like that about you. We get to know you. We get to trust you. And we want to buy some stuff from you. So tell your origin story. Now, number 3, Rose, what is it?
Number 3, social. So social media. Let's get social. People love to see a behind the scenes insight into not only your business, but also you. Do this on the weekend when you're in your free time. You might be walking the dog. You might be down the beach. People love to know that you're real. And they love to see that as well. And it subconsciously builds trust with your audience. So don't be afraid to get social and show your customers who you are, what you like to do, and maybe even how you use your product in everyday life. If you're selling cookware, you might be cooking, you might be entertaining. So things like that. Does it always have to be sales and professional and really, really put together? Yeah, just make it casual.
I love that idea. And if anyone has seen my recent Buddies content, I've got a lot of content of me walking my puppy dog. And I'm walking my puppy dog and I'm talking about walking my puppy dog and I'm talking about some ideas in social media marketing. It's very real. It's me in the afternoon with my dog down by the beach going for a walk. It's very much me. And you might think, well, people might not like me. Well, they may as well not like you quickly rather than not like you slowly. Some people will like you, some people won't. There's enough people that like you to make the business hugely successful. And it's being a bit more vulnerable, a bit more real. I love that idea. I love that idea a lot. Plus, it's like dual purposing. Get to walk the puppy, get some fresh air, and record some content all at the same time. Fantastic. What about you, Soph?
Yeah, I guess along that same sort of thinking is doing something different while you're talking to your audience. So we all know how popular the makeup tutorial videos
That
are.
drive me crazy.
Someone is
I thought,
putting
why
on
don't you put
makeup.
makeup on first and then talk to me rather than putting all this stuff on a
It
face?
is
And
so mesmerizing though when people do
I
makeup
find
tutorials is one
I find it,
example.
Sophie, I find it annoying, just quietly.
Okay, so for you, Pete, maybe it's a carpentry tutorial. There are so many different things you could do
I just think,
that are
finish your
not
makeup
aligned to
before you
your.
start talking to me. If you're talking about makeup, that's okay, but if you're talking about something else, you
I
know what
would
I mean?
love to see how long you wait till you turn that video off, though, Pete. I reckon you get at
Yeah.
least 10 seconds in
What if it
before
was
you're
like
like,
a
what am I
time
watching?
lapse? If it was a time lapse of someone mowing the lawn. We all know you love those, Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
there you
Okay.
go.
So
I
that's
like
That's
yours.
what
the
you
lawn
guys
mowing.
watch.
I like the lawn mowing. I like the before and after. I like seeing a disaster and then
Yeah,
seeing the after, the bit
Yeah.
before and
yeah.
after. But I don't get to see her before. She's already got a lot of makeup on already, and she's putting something else on somewhere.
Usually
Uh,
they start pretty plain and then they do something like a really dark bronzer or
yeah,
something and you're like, "Oh my god, this is not gonna work out." But she's talking about something completely different.
exactly. So,
She's talking
why is
about
she putting
how
a
she
makeup on while she's talking about something else?
because that's the trick, Pete, is it keeps you captivated. Your brain can't work out what it wants to know more. Does it wanna watch the video and
No,
see the end
my
result?
brain knows I
Does it
don't
wanna
want to
hear
watch
the
her
story?
putting her makeup on.
Well, for you,
I need
Pete,
to separate you two a little bit.
let's say for your we'll do a
My yeah.
male version of this, Pete, for you. You can't understand the makeup.
No.
Let's say we've got a carpenter and the carpenter wants to tell their story.
To show me how to do something carpentry related.
No, let's say they're not even telling you anything about carpentry. They're
Yeah.
talking about something that happened earlier in their day. So
Yeah.
they're saying to you, this morning we went to a job, it started raining, and they're talking about the weather. And then I thought I was going to go for a surf, and then I didn't. And then I knew, and like they're talking about something that's not related to what they're doing. But at the same time, and obviously consider safety when you're doing this, at the same time, maybe they're cutting wood or they're chopping wood or they're doing something that keeps you
Ah,
engaged with
I do actually
they're
watch a
doing.
guy on TikTok that chops wood in his backyard
Yeah.
with a
Does he
big axe.
talk while
He's an
he's doing
American
it?
guy. He's really built, great looking guy. He's got this huge axe and he's chopping
Great.
big. I find that interesting, right? And all he does is chop wood.
Does he talk while he's doing it or he just chops wood?
Just chops wood.
Just chops
Yeah,
wood.
just chops
Okay.
wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Obviously,
he's.
there
I
are
don't know what
different ways
he's
to do it.
selling, axes or wood or what
But
it's
you're
about.
compelled to keep watching his videos
Yeah, he
regardless.
should sell me something because I'd buy it from him. I really like the way he chops
See,
wood.
he's built trust. There you go.
He's built
Yeah,
trust.
he's
Yeah,
built
yeah.
trust. So when he comes to you and says, "Buy my thing,"
I'm
you're
also
gonna
very
be like,
envious because I'd like to chop wood like he does.
well, there's a level of respect there for him
A
because you
lot of
respect what
respect. Yeah,
he's
he's
doing.
not putting anything on his makeup. Anyway, I'll go away. I'll
We
go away from that.
all have that's the thing you have to understand is that type of content might not work for you. It might work really well for me. You
Yeah,
have to work out what's going to work for your audience. So you
exactly.
might be
I'm not on a makeup audience.
but that's the thing. If I was trying to sell to carpenters, the
Yeah,
makeup thing wouldn't work. They'd be like, I'm not watching that. What am I doing? If I want to sell to carpenters, I need to do something that is going to make them stop. So I need to, and maybe it could be a hairbrushing tutorial. I don't know. It's
could
something
be.
to make them stop. So thinking about your ideal audience, what type of content is going to make them stop? And then you don't have to be telling the story of what you're doing. You could be telling a totally unrelated story.
Yeah.
It works really well for cooking as well. So you could be a carpenter and you could be making a smoothie in the kitchen.
I was doing that talking about social media while I'm walking my puppy dog. Right.
Yeah, it's same thing.
Same thing.
But when you're doing an action that's so visible for the camera, the audience brain also wants to know what's going to happen. They want to hear the story, but they also want to know what's going on. So you're kind of reeling them in with two different
It's like my wood chopping guy. I wonder, can he get his axe through that chunk of wood?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested, right? It's a
We're
big
gonna have to put his details on this
Yeah, we
podcast so
will.
I
that
think we
people
will
can be
put the
like,
wood chopping guy on there. He'll probably blow up now
it's gonna go viral because Pete's a big fan.
because Pete's an influencer now. Now, my next tip is a bit off that track, the wood chopping tip, and that is find some buddy businesses around you that you can create content with. Now, this idea came to me a couple of years ago when next door to the co-working space where I work, there's an ice cream company, and I was speaking to the woman that's the marketer there, and they have I won't say who it is, but they've got ice creams, a pretty popular ice cream brand. Now, one of their most popular brands is where I live down in Manly. And the idea I had was that why not talk to other people around where that store is and create content together. Say, why don't you come down to the Corso in Manly? You can have an ice cream. You can then get some fish and chips, sit on the beach. On your way back, pick up a book from the newsagent. So pick a couple of people like around where your business is, whether it's a factory business, whether it's a 3PL business, whether it's a retail type of business. If you're in a physical location, pick them, or even if you're a virtual business, like you're a Shopify type business, think of businesses that don't compete with yours, but are like yours. Like maybe we talked about makeup earlier, but maybe you're a makeup brand, and then you partner with, say, a fragrance brand or a hair product brand, and the three of you create some content together because you use those products not exactly the same time, but basically they're complementing each other. Like now that you've done your hair with this particular product, you can use this particular makeup, and then you can go out with this particular fragrance, and you'll be special. Like collaborate with people. Yeah, yeah. But that's my next idea. Now,
Great.
are you up to number 4?
I'm up to number 4.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've educated, we've sold, we've done our socials. The 4th is to nurture. Nurture your audience. So this is we're not selling, we're not educating them, we're checking in. And this can be Q&As, it can be reaching out to some of your customers saying, hey, how are you going? How are you finding it? I noticed you purchased the new axe. How are you finding chopping wood? Or you got that makeup brush. How are you finding applying it? So you're not actually selling. You don't want anything more from them. You're actually checking in. And what that does is it not only builds trust, you've got a rapport, but you're setting up your brand for success because you are not seen as one of those grabby kind of companies. You're just being really kind. And that's what people like. And you're genuine. And that's what you want to appear to as well on social media. So you want to nurture your audience.
Nurture them. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. What do you think? You into nurturing too, Sophie?
I'm very big on nurturing. I think it's a really important part of building authority and trust and respect for your brand, and also that sense of community. Because what we want from social media is we want someone to see us as their friend, so that when, like, if I'm a carpenter and I'm doing carpentry videos, and then I'm doing all of this, piece to camera, talking to the camera, really, talking to them like it's a one-on-one conversation, then it makes the person on the other end feel like I'm talking directly to them and we're friends, and we start to build this real personal connection, even though we're not personal. I've got no idea who's watching this, but it starts to feel really personal for the person on the other end, so that when someone says, oh, I need a carpenter, or I need carpentry services, immediately that person is going to think, oh, I know someone, my friend Sophie is perfect. She'd be great. Let's call her, because you've built this real rapport with them that they feel like it's really personal, and you've invited them to your polls, and you've done all these, get involved, and it's community, and it's, all this nurture-based content where they feel like they're a part of it. Everyone wants to be part of it,
Yeah.
So
I want to be nurtured.
Nurtured, taken care of. We all want to be taken care of, Gee. Some of us more than others.
Yeah, I think I still prefer the wood chopping to the nurturing, but different strokes, different folks, right?
Another good tip on nurturing is...
You only had 4 though, Rose, but this is 5.
No, I'm adding on.
It's a sub.
Roundabout, back to me.
A 4.1.
Yeah, 4.1.
Hold on.
Nurturing is actually when you do make that direct communication with your customers, you can actually get that genuine feedback. So you might be thinking, I'm nailing this. I'm selling all these products. I'm doing great.
Yeah,
But maybe 50% of your customers are thinking, that thing broke in 2 weeks. That was rubbish. And
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't know that. So a good thing with nurturing is actually getting that direct feedback where people actually feel like they can say, you know what, I love it. Or I think that you could improve on XYZ, or it actually didn't work for me.
yeah, yeah.
So it's a good way to get that direct feedback. I think people are a lot more inclined to be honest with you direct than to
Yeah.
leave you a Google review where they're just slamming your business. So I think most people don't really feel comfortable doing that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I've got two more.
Oh, goodness.
I've got two more.
I mean, was that a
I've got
greedy guy?
I've got
You
two more.
really should only have 4. I get one more too then.
Or
You do
two.
yours first.
I'll do one of my two that I'll keep you
Okay.
waiting for the second
Okay.
second
That's a
one.
nice hook there.
The one of my two is what I have done recently, and that is to use trending topics. Now, a little while ago, as this is being recorded in late 2025, a couple of months ago, two very famous people got engaged. Travis Kelce, who's one of my favorite footballers to watch, the Kansas City Chiefs, a tight end, and Taylor Swift, who I think is a singer. She she
Oh, wrong crowd, Pete. Wrong
she,
crowd.
she sings songs,
Keep
right?
going, keep going.
So
How do I cut the audio?
So they got engaged, which that was a very trending topic there, particularly in my household with daughters. There's a lot of talk about Taylor Swift. I thought that's a trending topic. What does it mean for marketers? I was thinking, well, it's really bringing two brands together, because what I found really annoying as a football fan was having all this talk about Taylor Swift being at the game, and I didn't really care. Right. I wanted to watch the game, not watch Taylor. So I was getting annoyed. And I was wondering how the Swifties felt. Like, they're probably like young teenage women getting all this content about football. And I'm thinking, when you're bringing brands together, you've got to make sure they're complementary, not different audiences, not very separate audiences. So think about like having complementary brands. It's one of the reasons why I said in my post, and you can check out our content. There's a couple of posts on this. It's one of the reasons big FMCG companies, like say Nestle, for example, you don't hear Nestle in the supermarket, but you see Milo, you see Uncle Toby's Oats, you see Kit Kat, for example. They're all Nestle products, as is most of the pet food you find in the pet aisle. That's all Purina products, which are also owned by Nestle. So they separate their brands out depending upon who the audience is. So you can do that yourself if you're selling to different audiences under separate headings or separate brands. But if you're partnering with brands, partner with brands that are consistent with what else would they buy? What else would they be interested in? And how can I engage that trending topic at that particular time? Now, I'm being a little bit controversial, but I'm just being honest. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love her. I find that I hear the same song over and over again, but they're actually different songs. That's just me, right? I like country music and I like wood chopping, right?
Okay. Do you
Okay.
know what, though? On that topic, Pete, of
Yeah,
Taylor and
yeah,
Travis,
yeah,
one thing
yeah,
I did hear which I loved was you're saying that's different brands coming together.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
they don't work on the outside, but actually what it did do is it brought together fathers and daughters,
It did,
because
it did,
daughters
yeah.
were going to the football matches and fathers were going to the concerts. And I think
Exactly.
that's lovely. So maybe there is sometimes that there is an underlying positive to bringing brands together that you think don't actually go together.
Yeah, yes.
And that was
Can I
one of
tell you
them.
something though? That a few years ago, there was a very popular brand called One Direction, and they came to Australia, and I took my daughters, and they were about one daughter and three of her friends, and they were about 13 or 14 then. And I went to the concert. The girls were screaming like for the whole time, and then one of them, Harry Styles, took his shirt off, and the screaming went into like very much louder screaming. And I'm thinking
And
for
the
about
girls were also screaming.
30,
Wasn't just
well, I was
me.
screaming. I wasn't screaming for about 30 minutes, right? And it's like it was like deafening. It was like cicadas in your ear. It's like deafening screaming. And I couldn't hear any of the music. All I could hear was this deafening screaming. So I think father-daughter thing's good, but I'm not sure. I wonder how many young girls would go to football matches unless Tay-Tay was there, and how many guys would maybe to take their daughters go to a Taylor Swift concert. But anyway, but they're good questions to ask. You're asking these questions of yourself, like, and maybe if you don't know the answer, ask your customers. Say, what else do you do? What else do you buy? Like, if you're,
Mm.
we talked to a company recently that sells these sleeves for being in the sun, like for golfers that want to protect sun cancer from their arms. And you think, golfers buy. What else are they buying? What else? They're buying golf gloves. They're buying golf balls. They're buying golf bags. They're probably buying golf caps. A whole lot of stuff they could be buying, right? That you could think about partnering with and co-brand with, for example. So where are we up to?
It pays a lot to be strategic, I think. And I do love that of this podcast, Pete, you are the one to bring up Taylor Swift and Harry Styles in the same conversation.
Yeah.
And multiple shirts off as well. And get two of those off. In.
Perfect. I think there is secret, obviously, fandom here. But I do think if you've got two different brands, I think you need to be strategic. And there are whispers that Taylor and Travis are, using their combined status for good for different things, for different brands. So not necessarily their own brands. They're combining and paving a different path forward, whatever that may be. But I think it's always good to just be strategic, never to just go, oh, yeah, we've got two brands. We're just going to mesh them together and see where we end up. Because if there's no strategy, if there's no plan, then you probably will lose both audiences and they'll probably both be like, oh, this is not really what I'd signed up for. So I think it's really important to stay strong to your brand. And you can see this going back to Taylor and Travis. I do know a lot about Taylor and Travis. But they are so great example of how they are still so strong in their own brands. So you talk to Travis Kelce and he's not changed himself one bit. He's still the same person he was before, and he still very much emulates who his brand is, and it's a very masculine brand, and it's very football. And that hasn't changed. It's still, that is what it is. So it's almost like just putting them both on podiums rather than trying to mix them together and find some happy medium of what will make everyone happy.
Of course, I'm very happy that they're in love and that Travis, there's going to be baby Taylors around. I think that's that makes me want to sort of tear up just thinking about it. And Travis is going to retire at the end of this year anyway, so I won't really care at the end of this year.
Well, he'll have plenty of time to be a stay-at-home dad.
So that'll be okay. He can disappear into the sunset with his babies. I can watch football and not be worried about seeing Taylor in the box, up in the box. But I've got one more. I wanted you to.
I don't actually think I got to share my one more, Pete. I think you kind of did yours.
Do you want to do your one more?
Okay, I'll do mine really quickly.
I thought you just did one.
No, I was just going on top of yours. But anyway,
you're actually stealing mine. No,
I was not stealing yours.
I
was just
back in your mind.
Giving more
corners. Goodness.
Mine is similar in the trending space. My quick tip is jump onto trending audio. So if you've got nothing to do this week, or you've just got no ideas, or you're having a really tough week, or you're really hungover, or whatever the case may be, just find some content that doesn't have any audio. So like, let's say you're on a job site, you're filming the job site, or if you own a florist, you're filming inside the florist. If you're an accountant, you've propped your camera up and you're filming yourself at your desk, and just put trending audio on top of that with potentially a little bit of a POV text or something that makes sense to whatever industry you're doing. Or it could just be a time lapse with trending audio, and that will help give you content and keep it consistent. B, it's very simple to do. You literally upload a video, you add your trending audio. All of the apps, there's a trending section and you can see what's trending, or you can just know by what you've looked at and what you've liked. And see what it does is with trending audio, if people, let's say it's a Taylor Swift song and you put that Taylor Swift backing track to your axing video, carpentry, whatever, everyone who's is getting that song on their feed is also going to be starting to get fed your content, because the algorithm's going to think, oh, you like this song, here's another video with that song. So, and what happens is if you've gone down that rabbit hole, which I have, and you really like a song and you keep watching these videos, even if they're completely different, it just keeps sending you one after the other, which for an ADHD brain is like so good. It's like, oh, I'm hearing it again. And it's different content to the same music. And that's telling the algorithm that your content's really valuable because people are watching it. So it's something that's really simple to do. You don't have to come up with the music. You just have to come up with something to film, or could even be a photo. It doesn't even need to be a video. It could just be a photo or a Canva tile. Pop some trending audio behind it, and then you're done for the day.
Fantastic. Would you like to hear my last one?
Would love to.
You'd love to?
Go for it. You can talk now, Pete.
I'll let to talk. My last one is about some content creation ideas. Is something that you'd normally hide, right? Something you'd normally hide or not tell anybody about, and that is tell them about a mistake you made. Now, I know I make lots of mistakes, and Sophie and Rose know this because they get to see a lot of what I do and try to do. And it can be very endearing to talk about mistakes you made on the path to where you're going. It gives you vulnerability, which is likability. It makes you much more real. But you also talk about what you did to resolve the mistake. Like you had, just say, for example, I mean, we've talked about stainless steel cookware for a little while. Maybe the mistake was I started with the wrong product. I was really interested in stainless steel cookware, but I started with saucepans. What I really should have started with was like a muffin tray because people really wanted a stainless steel muffin tray, and I didn't realize just how important muffins were. And then when I realized this, I realized the power of the muffin. I made muffin trays, and that was our biggest selling product ever. So you're talking about making a mistake, how you made the mistake, and then how it was resolved. That's like a classic story piece. Rather than hide the mistakes, put them out there. And the final bonus tip, you see a lot, and you wonder why people do this, but if you use it well, to create content, ask your customers to leave a comment about what you've just talked about. Say, for example, you're talking about the biggest problems with being in the sun too long, or the biggest problems you get from building an outdoor deck. What are the biggest problems you've come across? What are the biggest issues you have? Put that in the comments. Then that gives you content ideas for your next content. It's coming from people that are watching your content. So that's like you get a content idea from the people watching your content. That's my last bonus tip, guys. Buddies, there's no extra charge for the extra tips, is there, guys? It's not going to charge you any extra. It's going to be free whether we have an extra tip or not. I reckon I could talk to and it's great having the three of us together because this is the first podcast all three of us are together. You would have seen Rose do great content. You would have seen Soph do great content. You would have seen me walking my dog and doing some stuff. It's great to have all of us together. And what I enjoyed the most about us being together was the variety of the thinking. Right, Rose is, as usual, very very structured and ordered, and 4 points and 4.1 at the bottom. Soph is very deep and very into Taylor Swift, and she's into makeup tutorials and people putting brown things on their face. I'm into wood chopping and watching football.
And men taking their shirts off.
And then taking their shirts off at concerts. So it's been an absolute delight talking to you guys. And for our viewers, we'll see or hear from you next time on the Buddies podcast. Thanks for listening.
Bye.